Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Papa Don't Preach. We got a special guest in the house. I'm very excited to introduce Miss Amy Wilhelm. And I have to say, Wilhelm.
Yes.
Ah!
Ooh.
Did I do the scream right? Did I do the scream?
It's
Yeah, ah! See, I always like pointing out somebody who has a popular name like
I can't
Wilhelm.
believe you know the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, because my name's Obi.
Okay.
And Obi-Wan Kenobi, Star Wars. The Wilhelm scream was in Star Wars.
In Star Wars. It's in a lot of
it's in
George
Nosferatu.
Lucas movies.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
well
I'm
done.
Very, very familiar with the Wilhelm scream, and
Wonderful.
I'm big fan.
Oh.
Big fan of your work.
Thanks. I can't take credit for that.
Well, it's great to have you join us. We've actually been talking about getting you on for a long time.
Oh.
Yes, a very, very long time.
Very happy to be here.
A lot of you guys out there, to properly introduce Amy, she is a speech pathologist. Did I say that correctly?
You did. Yes.
You have a CCC SLP. Can you explain to me what a CCC SLP is?
It's just very fancy terminology. It's my certificate of clinical competence in speech language pathology.
Oh, damn.
You have to work for 1 year under a mentor before you earn your C's.
Oh, damn. And you've been doing this for what? 18, 17, 14,
That'd be
12.
nice. Little over 20 years.
Little over 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh man, you
Yeah.
got this thing in the bag now.
I do. Yeah, but I'm always learning.
Always learning.
There's
See,
always new things to learn.
very, very smart.
Yes.
Very calculated.
Uh-huh.
All right. See, I
Yes.
don't normally on this pod, and I don't at me, Blaine or Bennett. I'm usually the dumbest one at the table, so I should be like used to this. But I have like an actual educated person here, and it's very. I'll try and keep all my stupid dad jokes to myself.
I love dad jokes.
Okay.
Keep them coming.
All right, you asked for it. Well, today we're going to be talking to you. There's a couple things that I know I've gone through as a parent that our other host, Bennett, who you're sitting in for, has gone through as a parent when it comes to language and speech and kids learning to talk. And like, I kind of want to pick your brain here and go through a few things. But first, I wanted people to get to know you. And now, are you an Angelino? Yes or no? You're in the hot seat. Go.
Well, I'm born and raised in New York, but I've been here over 20 years.
What the hell?
I know. So you could consider me an Angelino at this point.
So raised in New York, you've been in LA for 20 years. Now the debate has started. LA or New York for you?
It's got to be LA for me at this point.
What?
They just got snow in New York yesterday.
Dude, they're never going to let you back after this.
I
can bleep this out if you want.
I've kind of gone Dodgers at this point.
Hell yes.
And I was a huge Yankees fan.
Hell yes. Favorite person. Bennett just got replaced. Hell yes. Hell yes.
So,
go Dodgers.
Yeah. Although, my dad's not too stoked about that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That I get. That I get. Don't worry. I'm in a relationship with a Giants fan, and it's
that's
very
a tough
rough.
one.
Oh, yeah. And
that's like me with a Red Sox or a Mets fan.
yeah, it's sometimes you think about it like, it's just a sport.
I know.
What's the deal?
I know.
And it's more like tribal city versus city.
But it comes across sometimes.
Yes. I like fucking Padres.
Agreed.
Goddamn the Padres. Oh, never again. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. LA is glad to have you staying here and sticking with us.
Talk to me, Goose.
Nice. Hell yes. All right. So with your industry right now, what part of town are you working? Are you all over Los Angeles area?
I've had an office in Culver City for the past 13 years, and I've just ventured out, and I am now kind of all over, just doing in-home therapy, and I'm doing virtual.
Okay.
So,
were you always doing virtual? Did it kick up after the pandemic?
No, I learned as everybody else did when the pandemic hit. It was out there prior to that, and I always wondered, how do people do that?
Yeah, it was.
and I wondered about the effectiveness of it, but I was pleasantly surprised that it actually does work.
It does work.
So,
the real thing does help.
Yeah.
Like being in person.
There's nothing like being face to face, especially when you're working with children, because, especially when you're working with children under 5.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yes, I've actually had a personal experience with that. Like during the pandemic, I was separated from my newly 2-year-old
Okay.
at the time. And every morning we would get up in the morning and we'd do like 15 to 20 minutes via Zoom. And I'd go through the ABCs. We'd play games on the computer where I could share my screen, and like I had fun backgrounds to keep his attention.
Yeah.
It was exhausting.
It is. It is. Yes. Was someone there with him to at least kind of, keep him there?
Yes.
Yeah. I found that was my right-hand person, whether it was the parent, the caregiver, a nanny, whoever it was. But you really do need that second person there when you're working with kids.
I can't imagine doing that alone.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Me neither. I had puppets. I had, 8 million things to try to keep them.
Oh, man. I just got a little drip of sweat thinking about, like, being there again with puppets and, like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Whatever
it's
works.
It's not easy. It's not easy. Now, quick question. Now, you probably get this a lot of time. What is the difference between a speech pathologist and a speech therapist?
The difference is pathologist versus therapist. There is no difference.
Hell yes.
Yeah, it's
Blaine, you owe me $20.
It's a lot easier when I meet people and they ask, "What do you do?" I say speech therapist because speech pathologist just it's a lot. It's a mouthful.
Right. When you're in New York, do you call yourself a pathologist? When you're here in LA, you say I'm a therapist.
I'm a therapist.
Well, I was like, oh, wait, is that the same thing? I literally thought to myself, there might be a difference I don't know. So I wanted to ask before I said something dumb.
Nope, no difference.
Okay.
No difference.
All right. So I have like so many questions I wanted to go down here because, like I said, I've gone through this. Like, is there something wrong with my kid or not route that most parents that have never done it before go through? Like, luckily I was the second kid. Like, I figured it out.
Right. Right.
Like I was a second child, middle child. They're like, he's fine. If he doesn't speak, great, but he's okay.
Yeah, right. I'll encourage him to stay quiet a little longer.
All right. So what are some speech social milestones between the ages of 2 and 11 that you think some parents should know?
Okay. 2 and 11 is quite a wide range.
Yes.
Yes, it is. So we'll condense it down. I mean, if we're looking at 2-year-olds, they usually say by 2, they should be putting 2 words together. Usually by 1, they should have 1 word. And then by 2, we want to start putting like more cookie or daddy go.
Okay.
So we're starting to see that. We're following directions. We're following simple commands. Go get your shoes, put them on. So our attention span's increasing. We're able to listen to books and, kind of follow along there. As we get a little older, 3, 4, 5, we start to see a lot more language come.
It's a light switch.
It is. The light switch turns on. We're understanding concepts, up, down, in, out. We are definitely, just starting to put little stories together or be able to retell maybe what I did today or what just happened. Uh-oh, juice spilled.
Oh, goddamn juice spills.
Oh, yeah.
Now everything is sticky.
Yeah.
I hate it. But go continue.
But it happens. Yes. Yes. And so then, as we get into our school age years, then we're really starting to, now we're working on like verb tenses, and we're speaking in the past tense, and we're speaking in the irregular past tense. And because I have many kids who, still say, I throwed the ball.
I throwed the ball.
Yeah, I throwed the ball, or I catched the ball. And
I always thought that was like a cute thing. I didn't know that these kids were actually like dumb.
Yeah, well, it is not that. Nobody is dumb.
Okay, sorry.
No, we are just acquiring language at different times and still figuring out the rules of it. For some kids, it comes innately. I didn't have to learn that. You probably didn't have to learn that. You just picked it up.
I got it beat into me.
Okay.
I had my mother's language. English was her second language.
Okay.
So that was one of the things that if you meet any Nigerian kid, if you meet any foreign kid, that one thing that they had growing up is a parent interrupt a story to correct their grammar and their English and their tenses. And whoo, that gets the blood boiling.
For sure. On the flip side, I could say I wish that some of my families would work more on their past tense verbs with some of the kids.
Yes. And so, and actually going into more of that point, like, I know you have like the good, the bad, and the ugly, but mostly, are there more parents trying to get ahead of it that come and seek your help, or do they only reach out to you when it's a problem?
I get both. Typically my younger population, my 0 to 3, that early intervention population, those kiddos, typically there's something that's leading them to speech therapy, whether it is a genetic something or, maybe a cleft palate or, they have some kind of maybe a syndrome, something like that.
Okay.
But, there are some parents who are just sort of, kind of want to make sure that we're hitting the milestones and let's just check and see. But a lot of times pediatricians will kind of, by their 2-year, maybe especially by their 3-year, if they're not saying anything or if they seem to be a little bit behind, then they're referred to a speech therapist.
Now, is it kids mostly just being stubborn as hell?
No.
It's not. Okay,
it's not.
I swear to God, my kid was fucking with me for a long time because I will hear him in the other room talking. I'm like, oh my God, I'll run in there. And he's like, I'm like, all right.
Right.
Something's up here.
Well, I guess I don't know how to respond to that one per se, but
like, I know that there's some parents out there that like, oh, my kid's not speaking, something's wrong. But it could just necessarily be like this kid doesn't feel like talking and teaching him how to use his words instead of his emotions or his feelings.
I was just going to say, like when you said emotions, it can be an emotional thing. It could be maybe, Dad's here. I don't want to say anything. Or I don't want to say the wrong thing. Or,
I have that effect on kids.
Okay. Hey, there you go.
There you go.
Maybe from the lessons you were taught as a child.
Yeah. I brutal Nigerian parenting. That's iron fist. And I'm passing it on to my son now.
No, but I definitely see that in my sessions too. Or what I will see is, we have a great session and then I bring the parents in at the end of the session. It's like, oh, let's show mom and dad or, whoever, let's, what is this? What is that? Shut down. And they just shut down. It's like, no, they were saying it, they will. It's just, kids don't need to be, they get put on the spot.
Yes.
Oh my God. And life is not a quiz.
Yes.
For these kids. And sometimes kids get asked a lot of questions, what color is this? What shape is this? What is this? What is this? And it's just too much.
I don't think anyone thinks of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that right now. It's happened to me and I have done it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. Like, don't be embarrassed. You're a kid. You don't have any shame. You run around the house naked.
Right. Like, yeah, exactly. Right. You have no pants on.
Yeah, I totally get that. And that's actually very enlightening. You've unlocked a lot of memories in my head. I've told this story on the pod before how, I loved to dance when I was a kid. I loved, like, me and my brother would put all these things together. And then, I'd go to, my mom would pick us up from school, take us to her office. And she's like, oh, yeah, your kids are here. Like, yes. Oh, Redze, Obi, come here. Do the Michael Jackson dance. We're like, no, everybody start clapping. Make some music. And we're like, what the hell?
Like, Mom, that's embarrassing. I don't want to.
Like, reluctantly doing it. So, like, I can imagine, like, performing this new shape or this new color that you learn being super stressful. It can be stressful,
and especially, some of my kiddos have difficulty actually enunciating or getting those sounds out. So they have to think really hard and they have to work really hard to do it. And so now you're putting pressure on it, and then, it just compounds it.
Okay.
So, the best thing for parents sometimes is just to model that speech. Just be like, oh, look, that's the blue one. That's the purple one. That's the yellow one. And you want to model that and you want to give the kids the vocabulary, but you don't have to quiz them on it all the time. They're absorbing it. These kids are sponges, especially at these early ages. They're taking it all in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When I heard modeling that type of stuff, I think I used it the wrong way. I was gonna be like, oh, look at the hippopotamus. I'm like, oh, the hippopotamus. Oh, good job. So, and
but that's fun too.
Yeah, I really want to hold on to this part in his life because he says so many words funny.
I know.
And it's
I know.
fucking adorable.
I know. It is really cute. I know.
But am I doing something, like, if I don't correct him on a word he says wrong, is that like, do I let him learn on his own? Do I just be like, oh no, this is actually called a giraffe, not a giraffe?
I mean, you've been blessed with a neurotypical child. You know what I mean? So he's going to figure it out.
Okay.
He's not going to go into 6th grade with hippopotamus.
Yeah.
He'll figure it out and he'll get there. And there are some, I mean, I've heard kids say the cutest things, even in my sessions. And I'm like, oh, it sounds so cute, but we have to work on that TH, you know?
I get it. I said I used to say like diabetes until I was like in the 5th grade.
For diabetes?
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's because my mom said it that way, and she has a thick Igbo accent.
Oh, okay.
And so I thought that was the right way to, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to get diabetes. And like,
I was going to say, was that a big topic in your house?
Yeah. Like if I had a Tootsie Roll before bed, they're cutting off my foot. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm telling you, the Nigerian parenting is swift. Is unrelenting. Okay. So one of the things we talked about it earlier, about like being in person, not in person, like, with a lot of technology rushing in, like the huge boom in tech.
Yeah.
Are there some things that you're like, oh my God, I wish I had this 10 years ago? And there's some things you think that you're like, maybe we don't need that just yet. Like,
one of the best things is being able to just like pull up a picture of something you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're talking about something. I've got, some of my kids have real special interests. Some of them are very into, for example, I have one kiddo who's very into every type of whale. And so sometimes, then I learned all these whales. And so then it's like, oh, that's that whale. You can pull these up, you do have anything you need at your fingertips, which is great. But I also do see sometimes, these devices being, not used interactively. And then I see, sometimes kids off on their own on a device or something like that. And, I like to see families working with the kids on the devices.
Yeah, it's, I was one of those people that, came in real headstrong. Like, I'm not going to stick my kid in front of an iPad. That's ridiculous. Like, he had an iPad at 18 months.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, mm-mm.
Yeah. And it's kind of, and it's here and it's not going anywhere.
No.
So it is something that we need to learn to navigate, but, that would be my biggest thing for parents with their iPad usage. And I understand that, sometimes we just need a timeout.
Yeah. It's a different world that these kids are growing up in.
It
and
is.
It's moving a lot faster.
Yeah.
I remember being in an airport with like my son was walking, but he definitely was like still like stumbling. He was very, very young. And I remember him walking up to like those airport kiosks and just like swiping at it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell is it? Oh my God.
I know. I saw a little kid at a wedding, and this gentleman had a phone in his hand, and this little toddler, little tyke comes up, and he holds his hand up to give a high five. She walked right over to the phone. She could not have even cared. I don't even think she knew there was a human there. She saw this glowing at her height because he was sitting down. So
it's an amazing thing to see at such a young age.
I know. But it is there. It's out there. This technology is there.
So, what are some advice that you would give to parents who, I wouldn't say that are seeing signs of, but like, they get worried. Like I was in a situation where there are people around in my circle who didn't think my son was developing fast enough.
Okay.
And so like, what's the best, like what advice would you give to parents, couples, people who are co-parenting? It doesn't matter that like need to get their child assessed at 2 years old or at 2.5. And
right.
Like, what's the best way for them to navigate it?
The best way to navigate, I think, well, first of all, I mean, there's gut instinct as a parent.
I thought there was like, GUT, what does that stand for?
Yeah, no, just
what government agency is that?
As a parent.
Okay.
But I do, Are we saying that you kind of are we saying that you think the parent has an inkling, or are you saying everybody else is telling the parent that they need to do something?
So that's the rub right there.
Yeah, I guess
sometimes
so.
you don't know where the information's coming from.
Right, right. Okay. Well, the great thing is that you can look up early milestones online, so you can go under speech and language. You can go to, there's physical therapy, there's occupational therapy if you think your child isn't moving right. But we're talking about speech here today. So I'm going to keep it on the speech and language.
Yeah, it's just, Dr. Google has led so many parents astray.
It's very true. But go to those milestones.
Okay.
Go to the milestones. They have them very well laid out for 0 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, 12 months to 2 years. And kind of take a look and assess and see, all right, maybe he's not is he following these directions? Is he babbling? Because babbling is the first part of learning to speak, and blah blah blah, beep beep beep. all those early sounds. That's us learning to use our articulators, which is a fancy term for our tongue and our lips and our jaw. But those are all the things we need to talk. There's a lot that needs to happen all at once for us to say these beautiful words.
That's very true.
Yes. You can also assess. Some kids are brought up with a pacifier in their mouth a lot of the time.
Yes.
And if we have a pacifier in our mouth a lot of the time, then we're not using our tongue and we're not talking and we're not developing those muscles.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there are things like that to think about, just things to think about. I know it's a comfort, but
how have I never heard of this before?
Oh.
Is this like common knowledge? Am I one of those people that just didn't know this?
It's only it is in my field, but no, yeah,
like that's like
parents give him a binky.
Yeah, that's something like everyone's giving you pacifiers. Like I had a pacifier for every day. I had one with a spinner on the front of it. Like
yeah, I know. And now they have ones that have like an animal on it that pulls it down, which even just pulls down. So kids have weak muscle tone. Then,
whoa,
just think about it. Like if you have this pacifier in your mouth and you're watching TV, I know this is I know this is a podcast, so you can't see, but you can in front of me. But you can see that you're just exactly. Your tongue is like this, like that, and your muscles aren't getting used.
It's like a podcast.
However, I think our audience is going to figure out what we mean.
Yes. It's good stuff.
But your muscle tone is low then, or it can be. And so, on top of that, if you do go to speak, then you've got something in your mouth that's, and so that's just, again, for pacifier kiddos. But, you look over those milestones, you try to see, okay, maybe you talk to your pediatrician. Some pediatricians are better than others. Some still seem to have a wait and see approach.
That is another one. It's like finding the right pediatrician, the right approach. A lot of I don't like using the words old school, but that's really what it is. There's a lot of doctors out there that are just like, if
he'll be fine.
He'll be fine. They're like smoking in the living room. Like, what are you going to do?
Right. There's something else to consider. This is just one thing. If it is a second child or a third child, sometimes we have an older brother or sister doing all the talking for us.
Yes.
And so we're not given that opportunity to talk as much. That's always a question that I ask when parents come in. I say, is there an older sibling? And 9 times out of 10, if there is, they say, oh yeah, he always does the talking for him, or, and, so if you are thinking that, and then if you really want to take a next step, if your child is 0 to 3, you can contact your local regional center, at least in California.
All right.
And, you can bring them in to get assessed, and it's at no cost.
Okay.
Yep. So that's something to think about. But if people don't know it.
But it's crazy that no one ever told me about a pacifier. That one's still blowing my mind.
I know.
And
it's a speech. When I see kids with a pacifier, it's just kind of that. It just gets me.
I was always told like, oh, they need a pacifier so their mouth can do something, and like if they start teething, and I'm like,
right. And don't get me wrong, when kids are very little, it's called your suck swallow reflex. You give a bottle. And, it's kind of, and so, they kind of need that sucking a little bit, and they need to work that tongue, and they need to work those muscles. So it can be very good, but prolonged usage. And, it, when it's in the mouth all the time,
that's the problem.
you can see.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the issues.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to. Has there ever been a situation where you're working with a child and you're like, fuck this kid? Like, seriously, no. Like,
we all have our good days and bad days, especially around a full moon.
You're human.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, for sure. But you have to realize that communication is so powerful that these kids are not acting out because they want to. They're acting out because they're frustrated, because they want to say something, or because they want to, communicate better. They want to say that word, or they want to be able to do this. And so, a lot of their frustration is for a reason. It's not because they're just being bad.
Yeah, but I'm like in the process right now of teaching my child on how to take a breath and like just think about what he's doing before he starts. Because I noticed that, I had to tell one of my son's teachers this when he got in trouble. She's like, I don't know what he's trying to tell me. Like, he's not saying anything. And like, he'll just repeat himself. And I'll be like, oh, yes. And to me, as a parent, I try to keep myself cool because I think that teachers get a bad rap.
Right.
But, fuck this teacher, honestly.
Yeah, right.
I think
Did you get down on his level?
Yeah.
Did you talk to him? Did
Yeah,
you ask him?
I feel so bad for teachers that have parents trying to tell them how to do their jobs. But, I was like, listen, when he gets frustrated and gets overwhelmed, he literally can't find the words.
Yeah.
Give him a second. If you're like, what are you trying to say? He's going to freak out. He's going to start screaming. Like he's not even mad at what he's happy. He won't even remember why he's upset. He's just mad that he can't get the words out right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that happens when he gets really, and like, it's funny with the emotions because it'll happen when he gets really excited too.
Yeah.
Like I have this giant train set in my living room right now. And when he saw it for the first time, he started like a fit of laughter because he couldn't tell me how excited. He's like, what? It's like,
right.
Just sensory overload. He freaked out.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we do that too. Imagine you walked outside and you had a brand new car sitting in the driveway. You'd be like, oh
so
my
many
God,
things.
what? You'd probably be at a loss for words.
Heart attack, fart attack. You don't know what would happen to me. I am not in the right health to see a new car in my driveway.
Yeah, right.
Loss of words, least of my problems.
Emotions can definitely, and in a child's world, anger and excitement are two of their biggest emotions, and so those are big times where they need to have a little bit of bringing them down.
Yes.
I love that you're having him take a breath.
Yeah, it's rough.
I know.
Sometimes
I know. It's hard.
Nigerian way might be easier. Just like slap them right out of their shoes. They'll learn. Whap.
I grew up a little with that old school as well, but you just can't do it.
Yeah. And it's not really successful.
No.
If you beat your kids, you're just turning them into better liars. Straight fact.
I like that.
That's all you're doing is you're creating a supervillain. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, right.
No origin story starts out like that. That's how you get your Lex Luthors. But anyway, we were talking about like things to do with your kids when they're getting excited and they have a loss of words. So what are some of the most common mistakes you see that the parents like? I'm sure that you've had a kid walk in and being like, "Ooh, mom and dad, you fucked up," but you can't say that. You got to navigate through that. So what are some of the most common mistakes you see that parents do make when it comes to like issues of development with their children?
Okay. Well, maybe not working on taking that pacifier away.
Yes.
It could be things like that. It could be, well, he really wanted a cookie. So now we have a cookie before our session, which is just going to increase our sugar rush.
He really wanted a cookie.
Yeah, right. That can happen. That's for me in my sessions.
Yeah.
But, there's that follow through. It does. And especially if your child is having, difficulty with their speech and language or developing it, it is going to take extra time and you do have to put that time and effort into it. I have something I can show you.
Ooh.
It's something that I show all of my families when I first start with them.
Okay. Let me see this.
It's nothing fancy. It's nothing more than a big bowl of white M&Ms with one blue M&M in the middle.
Oh.
Okay, that one blue M&M is the 1 hour the kid is with me. The child is with me.
Okay. So that blue one is just the 1 hour.
Is the 1 hour they're in speech therapy.
Okay.
The white M&Ms are every other hour of the day that you are with your child. So it is the parent's job to really kind of, listen to, if your child is going to speech, listen to what the speech therapist is telling you to do and really, take that time. Okay, bath time's going to take a little longer because we're going to take these animals and we're going to have them go up, 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 and down. And then we're going to do that 5 more times with each one of these. I say bathtub because I feel like a lot of speech therapy is done well when kids are kind of, I don't like to say containered, but, in a high chair.
Caged. Say it.
In a bathtub. Somewhere where they are in that spot.
They can't escape.
Quote unquote, yes, can't escape. They are enjoying themselves.
Yes.
Bath time should be fun.
Bath time is always terrible until they're in there. Then they're having the time of their life.
Right, exactly.
Yes, I get it.
Exactly. And depending on the child, maybe bath time's not the most opportune time, but, feeding time or something, that's when you get the puppet out and now you're going to feed the puppet as well. Oh, puppet, you want more? Oh, and now you want more? And so we have to model that a lot.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I see is not a lot of carryover sometimes.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yes. I tried this thing where I'd put foam letters all around the bathtub during bath time so we go through our ABCs.
Uh-huh.
And, I guess I just needed to mature a little bit because that just turned into us going through the ABCs twice and then me sending a friend Seth sucks with the letters
with the letters written out.
And the kid sitting there in the bathtub. I'm like, I guess my son hates you.
But also, here's the thing is we focus a lot on expressive language, which is what your child is saying, but there's also that receptive language, which is what your child hears and understands. Ooh. So now you've got that alphabet up and you tell him, show me letter C. Show me letter Z. So now he's interacting and, now we're working on his understanding.
Yes.
Or you can say, hey, give daddy D. Give me the D. Uh-oh. Oh, my gosh. I should have said, I don't know.
Hey. Give daddy the D.
Just because you're dad.
Oh, no. It's so much better.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was good. I told you,
That's funny.
I'm not very mature.
Well, that's all right.
Welcome to the Papa Don't Preaches.
Oh,
now,
boy.
why are all these M&Ms white?
I don't know because I don't know why. Because actually,
you couldn't use an actual color like brown.
You can tell that's a Google image,
Yeah,
and
I can.
I looked for a bowl of M&Ms and all the same color, and that's what I got.
No,
so.
I like this analogy because it kind of if you were to just tell me that, I'll be like, okay. But actually seeing it makes more sense of okay, this is the time they're with me is this one. All these other times that they're in the world that he needs to, or he or she needs to be learning something and pulling information in.
Right.
I definitely get that.
Yeah.
So before we take a break, I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Have any of your former kids that you weren't able to help turn into mumble rappers? Dun, 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 dun. No, I'm just messing.
So funny.
I'm just
messing.
I've
only been in this field 20 years, so none of them are that old.
Have you ever heard like one of these rappers talk and you'd be like, oof, that motherfucker could use some speech therapy.
Oh my goodness. I hear it. When I hear someone on the news who's got a little lisp or something, it's just a thorn in my side. I have to turn the channel.
So like these things can be fixed, right? Like people, cause I knew a friend that Blaine knows, a buddy of mine who he has hilarious stories of him growing up with a lisp. And then he's like, yeah, the first time I was able to say Bernice instead of Bernice.
Yeah.
He's like, they went crazy. And like, I can't even picture him with a lisp.
Right.
But
yeah. And there are some adults who still do have that lisp, I mean, but yeah, it's muscle. It's placement of tongue. And then also the longer it goes, it's habitual. And so changing that habit to make it,
oh, shit.
Yeah. It becomes habitual. So the longer you have your child lisp, then the harder it's going to be to change it. As with anything.
Yeah, that's true. I only say jacuzzi now. I don't say jacuzzi. I can't change it. I can't. It's just not. But I hope we get you to stick around. We're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
And you guys, don't leave. We'll be back with more Papa Don't Preach. And we're back. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We are back with Amy Wilhelm. Ah! I never can do it right. I can never do it. Ah!
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 Just picture that guy falling off in Temple of Doom.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I think it's...
Or was it Raiders?
There was Raiders of the Lost... No, there was... No, wait, no, it was Raiders.
Was it
They
Raiders?
fell off the cliff.
Yeah. Ah!
Yeah, and then there's the guy, I think when Boba Fett... Not Boba Fett. Yes, when Boba Fett falls into the sand pit, there's another one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're nerding out. We're nerding out.
Okay.
Hang on. Stay on task.
Yes, get off this Wilhelm scream.
All
It's
right.
also a beer, by the way.
There's a Wilhelm
It's
beer?
an October pumpkin beer.
What?
Yeah, I have a T-shirt.
Is it any good?
No,
Okay.
it's not. And I've only found it on the East Coast. I got to thank New York for that. I don't know if I've seen it out here.
Man, New York's taking a lot of L's today. Hey-o. All right. Well, anyway, we're back with Amy, our speech therapist / pathologist, both the same meaning.
Yes.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have I think we're going to be doing a test later, but I have a couple things. Like, we can't just leave our people here empty-handed. What are some things that some parents can be doing right now to help their kids' speech development? Like, what are some things that they can be doing to, just teach them how to use
Get
words?
more words.
Yeah.
Get the words out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's tons. First of all, play. Play with your kids. Play with toys.
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. I understand. I know. Sing songs.
Okay.
Singing songs. Wheels on the Bus, Twinkle Twinkle. All of those songs. But what you end up doing is then you stop and let them fill in the blank. So you get these songs into their head. Songs are a great thing. It's very little interesting fact for everybody. Language is on the left side of your brain. Your language learning center.
Okay.
Music and creativity is on the right. So when we add rhythm and music to language, then both sides of our brain are working together. Which is why we know those lyrics from those 80s songs, and they just come back to us. So, right?
Yeah.
Singing songs with your kids and allowing them to fill in the blank here and there. Reading. Reading is huge for your kids, to read stories. Look at pictures. And you don't always have to read the story as it is, just talk about what's going on.
That was my problem. I went too hard.
Yeah.
It was a big production.
Okay.
It became exhausting.
Yeah.
He wants a story, and I'm like, I'm using the lights. I'm having figurines.
Oh, see, that's super fun.
Yeah, sometimes at the end of the day, it's rough.
I know. I get it. You set yourself up for that one.
Yeah, that's my bad.
But you know what? He loves it.
Yes.
He does.
I mean, he likes Blaine a lot more.
Well, yeah, I heard Blaine made top 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Favorite people, that is.
Yes, my son has a top 10 favorite list. I am not on the list, which is wild. He only knows like 8 people.
But a big thing too, one good thing is offering choices to your child. Do you want to wear the blue shirt or the yellow shirt? Now we're offering them, you're giving them a choice, which is giving them quote unquote power, and you're allowing them to now yellow or red or, so giving them choices. Or maybe giving, well, this doesn't always work, but
Uh-oh.
I was going to say, if they want a snack or something, maybe offer something unpreferred to have them maybe say, no, I want goldfish or something like that. But offering choices is always great. Labeling, just talking about things in the environment. When you're at the grocery store, make that a language learning opportunity. Oh, look at all the carrots. They're so orange. Look at all those pumpkins.
Yes.
Talking about that. Wow, that one's really big. Look how small that one is.
Yes.
So you're embedding these little concepts into their minds unbeknownst to them. When you're in the car,
great idea.
Talk while you're in the car. I mean, I know it's super easy to give a child a device in the car. I don't have children myself, but I've done a lot of caretaking and babysitting in the past. I always brought books, and the kids always read books in the back seat if we took them somewhere.
Gotcha.
So you're making these outside or out of the house activities, just learning time. And they don't know that they're learning. They don't know that this is a lesson, but you do. And you're sort of talking about, even when you're sorting laundry, this is mommy's shirt, fold, daddy's shirt, fold, something like that. Now we're showing possession. We're teaching them a little bit about that. And then you can hold up, wait a minute, whose shirt is this?
So like getting your kid like just involved in your life.
Yeah.
That seems like such an easy thing to do, but I can see how it'd be hard for parents to navigate, especially if you're in a 2-parent household or you're a single parent.
Right.
I can see that being a problem. Oh.
Well, you can also hang pictures around the house. You can always sometimes I encourage parents to rip the pages out of the books and just hang them up.
Oh,
and, this
destroying property.
Yes,
Got it.
We're not burning them.
Oh, snap. Eat it. Nice swipe. Yes. You were saying.
But a fun thing that you can do, and this is really fun, is maybe throw the lights down and get a flashlight and put a flashlight on a certain picture that's hanging on the wall. Like, what's this one? What's that one? Okay, your turn.
That's fun.
Yeah, that is fun. And we're working on turn taking then. Mommy's turn, my turn to do this, your turn. So, that's a kind of a foundation of a social skill there, is just trying to sort of work on that turn taking a little bit. You can have your kids help clean up. Okay, go put your spoon in the sink. That's following commands. It's working on that receptive language.
Yep.
It's not all about expressive.
Yes.
It's what they understand as well. And it's, kind of as they get older, then they're expected to understand multi-step commands. So
multi-step commands. What do you mean?
That would be like, go get your shirt, bring it downstairs, and put it in the laundry.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like now we have to do 3 separate things there. Sometimes we go get our shirt and then we find something else fun upstairs and we forget to perform. Yes, exactly. And a lot of my clients, need a little more assistance with that.
Yes.
Another thing is just talking about the day out loud. Oh, it's Tuesday. What do we do on Tuesdays? We go to school. Then, so you also want to kind of help with that first, then last, that sequential language.
Yes.
Okay, first we're going to drive you to school, and then I'm going to go to work, and then I'm going to pick you up. We're going to come home and have dinner. So you're starting to narrate a little bit of storytelling.
Got it.
So it's a lot of parent modeling.
Yeah. Okay. So this sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. But you can do, another thing you could do is just hide and seek, like take the Mr. Potato Head pieces and go hide them around the room. And so now they have to go look for them. And, one of my favorite things, folks, is plastic eggs.
Plastic. Oh,
my
kid used to yes. He loved his plastic eggs.
Right?
What is with kids and these eggs?
They love them.
I don't get it.
They love them.
Is there any reason behind that you can think of?
I don't know. Plastic eggs and bubbles are 2 things that I can't work without.
We had a literal dozen of eggs, and like you open each one, it had a different like shape inside, and like there was an X or a circle or a half moon, and he'd get them together, and if one egg was missing, burn down the house to find it.
Right. But I'm just talking like the Easter eggs that are empty.
Yeah, that's how
then
they
you
started.
okay.
Then we got the.
Oh yeah, you're
So
like
everyone's like, he's
now we
obsessed
like
with eggs, and so they got him a dozen. Like, I'm like, where'd you find this?
Yeah, right.
Where'd you find a carton of play eggs? But that's how it started. Was like these Easter eggs that he loved. I don't know what that's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, you can put little things in, like you can put the potato head pieces inside those eggs, or like I said, just hide them around the room. And again, now we're working on concepts. Did you look under that pillow? You know, so mom and dad can be sitting back a little bit while the kid's off searching for and, you know, finding certain things, or, you know, you got to find all 10 or whatever it might be. So that's kind of a fun way to work on some things. Cooking, helping your kid with, you know, there's so much that goes into it. There's, you know, there's turn taking, there's, you know, gathering the ingredients.
Yes, there's a lot of touching, feeling around, and discussing the colors. Yes.
Exactly. Pour. There's a lot of actions in there. Stir, mix. So getting your kid involved in the kitchen, if that's, you know, I mean, I get it, you know, in our fast-paced world where, you know, there isn't always that time.
Oh, yeah.
And especially after work, we're exhausted and we just want to, you know, quickly, you know, whatever it is, boil the pasta and add the sauce and we're done.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember making a pizza with my son, and like with the dough, and he had fun putting everything on.
Of course.
And then like tonight, it's like, you know, we cut up a pineapple, got a Red Baron, so he could just put those on top of the pizza because I ain't got the time.
Exactly. And, you know, that could be like your Friday night thing or your Saturday night thing or something like that. Or just, you know, making cookies one day or baking or something. You know, but cooking, I mean, it's just kind of getting back to your roots. I do think in this age of technology, you know, we've kind of gone a little bit astray of, you know, kind of some old school things that we just sort of grew up with. Getting bored. I mean, we grew up, I did at least, in a playpen, you know, with just a few toys and you just made do.
What are some good toys that these kids can have that are really helpful?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm back to the classics. Again, Mr. Potato Head, the Fisher-Price Animal Farms, things like that. But, I mean, we were discussing in the break also, you know, there's so many toys out with buttons now. And every toy, you know, for a 2-year-old doesn't really need to know every single color yet.
Yes.
Because if they know blue and yellow, but they don't know eat, want, cookie, apple, whatever kind of food they want, you know, I call those power words. You know, we have to work on power words and knowing
power words. Eat.
Yeah, exactly. But
like
that's
that.
going to get that's going to reduce frustration because if your child can say eat to you,
I know.
Then you know,
So
you're
just
hungry.
Screaming at my face.
Right. Exactly. Yes. But if he came up and said blue, then that's not really going to do anything.
Blue.
But if I keep pressing this button and it says blue, then I'm going to know blue. You know, so I mean, you know, the toys are educational, and I'm about that, but also, you know, at a certain age, again.
I think they got the ages wrong on some of those toys.
Yeah.
I would get one and it's like, from 2 to 3. And I'm like, it's like from 2 and up. And I'm like, okay. And my kid is just like, so this is an ice cream truck that sings songs, and you could put ice creams down on the side and pick the colors of the ice cream that you want, and then a little digital screen for the eyes come on. I'm like,
oh boy.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
And it came with 2 little buddies that you can put next to it, and they would talk to each other and sing songs to each other.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was more I was playing with it.
Yeah, right? You're like, this is a cool toy.
I'm like, I'm playing with it. So he's just like, he loved the show, but I don't know how a 2-year-old would even know how to function that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, blocks. Now they have magnetiles, which are pretty cool.
Oh, we got stacks and stacks of magnetiles.
Magnetiles are expensive though. You know, they kind of are. But
I'm gonna hit all the listeners up with a little hack.
Oh.
They keep making magnetiles, and people keep getting rid of magnetiles. So if you just go on OfferUp or something, you'll find a guy for $30 that's selling a box of magnetiles.
Smart.
Like they might be a little beat up, but you'll get some good ones.
Yeah, that's fine. They'll be good enough.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Those types of toys, you know, they just help with imagination. They help with creativity. They help with boredom. And, you know, if you've got blocks that have letters on them. Old school blocks, our blocks had letters on them and pictures and numbers. Now we're working on pre-literacy skills and identifying our letters. Some of them had numbers on them, so then you could use those. You could say, give me the C block.
Okay. Look at that. We knew it was coming. It's okay. It's okay.
Right. But again, reading
She
in
said
books.
C.
Oh, God. Jeez. What is a good letter around here?
The letter P's good.
You know what? That is what came to my mind after G, and I was like, I can't say P. Give me W.
Okay, there we
There
go.
we go.
There we go. W. That never hurt anybody.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right.
Yeah. But, and even, again, when it comes to reading or something like that, also talk about, as your child's a little bit older. How old's your son?
He's 5.
So he's 5.
He's 5.
So what you can start doing also, and this could also kind of start to help with some social skills, let's say I'm just going to go Berenstain Bears or something like that, and brother bear teases sister bear. How do you think sister bear feels?
Gotcha.
So now we're going to start asking them about others, how they're feeling. We're going to build some empathy here.
Gotcha.
And we're going to start to help them recognize, oh, brother did something mean. You know what I mean? And then that could spark. Has anybody ever done something mean to you? Present company excluded.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you pushed me down the stairs yesterday and called me a dummy. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You little snitch. No, okay, yeah. That's actually, there's a lot of things that you would think are basic, but when you're like in the thick of it, your main concern is keeping that kid alive, and like you're not thinking of how long you're talking to him, how much have you played with them today or her today, like have you asked this 4-year-old what they think about the sun, and like singing to them, and luckily there are tools out there to help parents who can't like afford a therapist or have the time to get to a pathologist. Like, how would you, for people that don't have the resources, are there ways that they can navigate to getting the proper help and finding out if there's an actual issue?
Yeah. Well, again, as I mentioned, 0 to 3 under the IDEA Act that was set up. Gosh, I should know the year. I think it was 96.
Let's make it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll make up
The IDEA
Act, IDEA.
96?
I want to say 96. But it was put into law that all children from 0 to 3 are covered by the federal government. So it's out there for under 0 to 3.
1970. 97?
97. Okay.
97. You were close.
Yes. All right. Okay.
1997.
Okay.
Okay.
So
it came out. So it was 1975 law, and then they amended it to mandate that schools progress report children with disability.
Well, that's not what.
That's not it.
That's not what exactly.
I think I think they're mixing two things there. But yes.
Anyways, children from 0 to 3 their services are covered via the federal government.
Okay.
And so there are regional centers out there. You just have to find we're in Los Angeles.
Yes.
There's a West Side Regional Center. There's a North LA Regional Center. There's a South Central Regional Center, Lanterman. There's a Harbor Regional Center. So based on, kind of your area, there's a regional center for you there. So
holy shit.
Yeah, I know. They don't tell parents that.
No, they don't.
They don't. Some pediatricians don't even know this.
They don't tell anybody anything. And it's kind of wild.
Yeah, I know. And I work with a lot of regional center kids, and those kids come for therapy, and the families don't pay me. The regional center pays me.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And then after 3 years old, the school district takes over. And so you can get assessed through your school district then.
Yes, I actually just found this out. And one of the other things of like them not telling me of getting my kid an aid, I'm like, yo, what's the update? And they're like, oh, yeah, she's been here working with your son for a week. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah, you'll find that.
Yeah, and it was funny because like my kid kept on mentioning this new name, and I'm like, "Who's it? Is this a new teacher?" He's like, "Yeah, it's a new teacher," and I'm like, "Okay, I got a new teacher."
Right.
But it wasn't. It was like his personal aide that was working with him.
Okay.
And I just had no idea.
Yeah, I know that happens too, where it's just.
Yeah, whatever.
We could digress.
Public
we could digress
school.
on that one.
Public school.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? She's there to help your son.
Yes.
So that's good.
I'm happy.
Yes.
So I am happy.
Yes.
All right.
There's also one other thing. I mean, and this is just a silly little thing that I learned in a conference one time, but for families who also may not be able to get all these toys, one of the things that she said is like the tops to a shaving cream. You could save those, and then kids can stack those. Like you can, I mean, lots of kids. I grew up playing with Tupperware bowls and wooden spoons.
Yeah.
It's kind of bringing back, you don't need toys. You just need to help encourage that imagination.
Kids always like, my kid was showered with toys. He had a mountain of toys, but he only really played with two things. He played with his truck. He played with his eggs.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
That's
exactly.
really it. Like,
I have an office full of toys. These kids want the car ramp. They want my play food, and they want Mr. Potato Head.
Yep.
And they want this one elephant thing that blows bubbles. But anyways.
Bubbles are dope.
Yeah, bubbles are.
I got a giant bubble maker, and it's kind of my thing now.
That's fun.
I love making these giant bubbles.
I know. Kids love them.
Yeah, you go outside, make a big bubble. It's kind of soothing.
Mm-hmm.
Very soothing. I know that we have like some things for me to test out here, so I can drag this conversation on because I'm a little nervous.
These are some tricks in my trade.
Yeah.
Yes.
So can you explain to me what this thing like? What are we doing? What am I looking at here?
Okay, so we're looking at nothing more than a flavored tongue depressor.
A tongue depressor.
Yes, it's strawberry flavored.
Is this like the same thing that the dentist puts in your mouth?
Yeah, or you open up and say ah.
Ah, that's what it is.
Yeah, the doctor does.
The doctor, yes.
Yes, I don't know if your dentist does. He might.
I don't even know if he's my dentist.
Okay.
It's the guy I see down the street.
All right, there you go.
Sorry. No, I'm being immature. All right, so this is my tongue depressor.
So this is your tongue depressor.
Okay.
So there is a speech kind of misarticulation that a lot of kids have where they don't use their back sounds.
Back sounds.
Back sounds. K and G.
K and G. Oh, K and G.
Yeah.
I see how that.
Yeah.
Wow. K, G.
You can even feel it if you make it.
K. Yeah. See how
no, make the sound, not the letter.
G.
Yeah.
Wow.
Put your hand right here. You can feel it.
G.
Right? Yeah. So, but I have plenty of kids, and this is it's actually a classic sound substitution, is they use all their sounds in the front. So instead of cat, they might say tat. Or instead of ready, set, go, they're going to say dough.
Dough.
And it's kind of fascinating. They will use it all the time. It'll be a tup for a cup. You get it.
Tup for a cup.
Yeah. And they, without knowing that these letters, that these words start with these sounds.
Little dummies.
And so how are we going to stimulate and get them to make this K and G sound?
Yes. And
right.
Okay.
So you see what they're doing is they're using their front of their tongue because T and D and
tat.
N, tat, 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 da, da,
tat,
da,
tat.
all there.
Tat.
Okay. So now we're going to put the stick in. Hold your front tongue down. Try to say cat.
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 Cat. Oh, I'm trying to say tat.
Uh-huh.
Cat. Cat. Oh, shit. Oh, this thing is tasty, too.
I know, they're good, right? Yeah, the kids love them.
Cat.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right.
What other words can I fix?
Try go.
Go?
Yeah.
Go.
Just try to say dough.
Oh, dough. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I'm
yeah.
going to try and say dough.
Okay.
Dough. Hey!
Did it work?
Go.
Yeah.
Dough. That's so simple.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't always, it takes a little time with some of our kiddos.
Fake. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. This is very tasty.
I know. They're pretty good, aren't they?
I'm still coming down from Halloween. So, I'm getting my fix. It's
this is your calorie-free lollipop.
Don't give a drug addict some Red Bull, man. I really like this. Well, this has been great. I am so glad you were able to stop by.
Thank you for
and
having
sit with
me.
us here at Pop It on Preach.
Yes.
This has been awesome. So, like, if somebody hears this and they want to get in touch with you, they want to get your services, how do they do that?
They can look me up. My company's name is Splash for Speech, so they could Google Splash for Speech.
Oh, sure.
And in the new year, I will have some videos out on YouTube that people can check out.
Awesome.
I don't quite have the link for it yet.
Oh yeah, don't worry. I'm glad that's going to be coming because now people can reach out to you anywhere, anytime, all over the place.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I'm here.
That is amazing. Now, everybody give it up right now for Amy Wilhelm. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. This is really fun. Thanks a lot.
I'm going to put a Wilhelm scream in here too.
Oh!
Actually, you know what? That might be more expensive.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It basically is. But hey, thank you so much for joining us here on Papa Don't Preach. Big shout out goes out to producer Blaine Pierre. Wah, 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 wah.
Hey, Blaine.
Bennett, we miss you, but I'm in good company. I'm very, very happy. DNA and Aaron Mostow do our music. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. This is Papa Don't Preach, and we'll see you next week.